here we go. All right. It is You Have Called Once Again. The calling has come, and we are in the studio making it a solid trilogy for Ray and Jay's Day at the Movies in Studio Rocks. Ray is actually off-site at the moment. He's got a travel week, I think. Right, Ray? What are you doing?
Yeah, heading out of town for the
Technology
for the week, and
rolls.
then attending a funeral later on at the end of the week. But yeah, it's all good.
Oh, we're
I mean,
sorry.
nothing's good about a funeral, but yeah.
No, I've got one that's coming up this week too. So it's not, it's never a fun event when you've got to attend one of those things, but it sure makes the family feel a lot better when you do. So, all right, you have asked for the trilogy. I was going to call it a threequel, but I don't think that's a word.
It's a made-up word.
It's a made up. It's a Justinism. Yeah. So, man, it's Ray. It's almost like we went back to the '90s. We've got Masters of the Universe and Mortal Kombat 2, and then now Street Fighter. So, how do you feel about all that?
Let me tell you, man, I am so excited. I yeah, I when the first Mortal Kombat came out, I was working at the theater. I was a conceptionist, and man, it was brutal. It was brutal. There were so many people at that place. I was just like, oh man, I didn't realize it was going to do so well. I mean, I guess I should have known, but anyways, we, lack of a better term, we got our asses handed to.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and I know there
yeah,
was
it
a
was.
part two to that with Chris, also with Christopher Lambert, and I don't think he was in the third one. Correct? Like, I don't think
Yeah, he wasn't in the second one, but there was no third one.
Oh, there was no third. There was no. It was
Right?
called
Yeah. So
Annihilation. It was called Mortal Kombat Annihilation, or was that the
it should
second
have been
one?
called Abomination because it just wasn't that
Or
great.
was that the second one? Am I
It was
thinking
the second.
that was the second
Yeah.
one? Okay, okay, and it was bad.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was just, I was kind of like, I watched the movie. I was like, man, this is really good. I thought they did a pretty good job as much as you can with the, video game adaptation of a movie.
Yeah, because
But
you gotta remember when those were released, special effects were we were still kind of at the birth of some of the CGI stuff they were trying to use. I know Goro was a hot mess when they tried it in Mortal Kombat 1 and it was just it was one of those things, but they pulled it off, and then we had kind of a sidewinder during COVID. I think it wasn't it released 2020 or early 2021, back when the world was still shut down, and it was a direct to was it HBO Max? I think it was direct to
yeah, I
HBO
think
Max.
so.
And I tell you what,
And,
zero expectations with that movie, but my goodness, it was amazingly entertaining. It was really, really good.
yeah, I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot, and I thought they did better. Now, with the new character that they had in there, that was made specifically just for the movie. I don't know how I really felt about that,
Yeah, that was mixed
but
reviews. A lot of people were hating on that.
I mean, overall, it was okay. I mean, for that character, but I was pretty I was pretty happy overall with the movie. So
Yeah, I think they made Goro look like a chump in the second movie, but they got the look right, and then he just however, there has been a sneak peek of the trailer where I think the non-fan favorite pseudo character that they just kind of threw in ends at his own demise. But that's the thing, is that nobody really dies in Mortal Kombat. That's the thing, is everybody, because all the other characters that died in I think the first one are in the trailer too. So I'm not quite sure how they're doing that. But yeah, they did. That was a criticized point of the movie. I do remember that being that way. And then how about that Street Fighter trailer?
Okay, so I'm pretty much looking forward to that. I can't. I mean, you can only do so much with Street Fighter. It's such a. I mean, even the Raul Julia one was pretty cheesy, but I loved it. I still enjoyed it.
I didn't. Yeah, I
I don't
didn't
know if it
think
was
Van
because
Damme
it was.
did bad at all. I
Yeah, Van Damme is bad. It's bad. I'm gonna jump over to back to the to Mortal Kombat real quick because I
sure.
wanted to, before we get off, but I just want to say like Hideyoki Yuki Sanada was like the character who plays a Scorpion um, in the first Mortal Kombat. Love him as an actor. You can't go wrong if you put him in a movie.
Right.
Um, and so I think the opening sequence of that movie was so incredible, and he could just draw that in. So if you guys watched Shogun, the miniseries, he plays one of the main characters in there, and it was just he's so good. Loved him in Last Samurai, and it just you got to watch those movies. It was just anything that he does, he's just an incredible actor.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
you can't go wrong with him.
so I'll jump back over to Street Fighter. I'm really looking forward to this one, man. I'm super stoked about it. I think you know I, you're not going to go pound for pound of the type of people that you're going to go and you're going to bring in. Um, like, oh, this person was like this Jack, or this person was like this Jack, and how are you going to do that? I mean, you gotta. I know it's a movie, it's based off of a video game, but you got to be a little bit more realistic when they're going. I mean, you don't have these, you know, bulky guys that can play these parts. So you get what you get and take it for what it is and enjoy it. But I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun to watch, and
So I
I'm
think
really looking forward to seeing what they do.
I think one of the biggest complaints with most comic book movies, and this is going back to the OG Bryan Singer X-Men, like back in the day. And one of the biggest complaints, and there's just been kind of a gap between what the character looked like in the comic and what the character looks like on screen, and how to pull that off. Most directors excuses for a lot of that, like, it's like, can you imagine somebody like Aquaman wearing an orange top and a green pair of tights? You know what I mean? And it's just like it just didn't translate well to live action, and that's kind of the way they treated the X-Men. That's the way they've treated most comic book movies. They just started adapting it. Now we have different types of fabric technology and different things to kind of bring those types of because the suit, I mean, Ray, wouldn't you say the suit itself is almost like its own character? You know what I mean? For critique. And I think when you go look at something as early as Street Fighter or even the original Mortal Kombat, again, we're going back into a time where special effects, I mean, CGI was kind of at a birth stage at the moment, and Lucas is the one that kind of knocked that out of the park for sure with his Star Wars 1, 2, and 3 and all of the experimentation that he was doing. But if you look at, it's like they really nailed it on this Street Fighter thing. I mean, it's just like they just went back to every video game and listened to it. It's kind of like the fans have a voice now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why they always do these test screenings and things like that. And they try to go for what people are looking for, the type of responses that they get, and um, you know, eh, to you've got some people out there that are diehard, like this is what we want to see, this is
Right.
what we want. I mean, Brian Singer's X-Men. I mean, he did what he could with the uniforms. I guess he didn't want it to make it look too, too uh,
Well,
cartoony or
there was even a joke
whatever it is.
about it, right? I think it was, I don't remember if it was an X-Men 1 or 2 where he said so he goes, "What would you prefer, yellow spandex or
Yeah,
so?"
yeah, it was in the first. It was in the first one, um, which is funny because like some people probably were like, "Yeah, I would have preferred it,"
Well, you saw him
but
pull it off in Deadpool. When you saw him put the mask on for the first time in Deadpool, and I think Deadpool Wolverine did so well. And to me, Deadpool, besides the Punisher Netflix series, Deadpool was one of the few times where they actually got the costume, I mean, dead on correct. You know what I mean? I mean, you could not get more correct than what they had his character in it. Even going back to the very first Deadpool, no, not mentioning Wolverine Origins Wolverine. What we're not we're not to speak of that Deadpool.
well, is that your Highlander 2 movie?
Yes.
Because
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
So, and I'll get into that one. Yeah. No, yeah. No. So, all right. So let's go on. So I watched the trailer. I'm like, I've got mixed feelings about it. I'm like, man, the kid in me that played Street Fighter 2 is super excited. And then the adult in me that's looking at it, I'm like, how is Guile's hair not going to fall off? So it's interesting, but I think Jason Momoa as Blanco is brilliant. I mean, Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, him as Barlog is absolutely brilliant. And it's just like Akuma. I mean, they've got everybody in this movie. I mean,
no,
everybody.
with Jason, I thought it was good. I thought it was a good pick.
Well, he's so
Picking,
over the top anyway. You know.
yeah, yeah, it was still good. I mean, how are we really supposed to know what the character is supposed to be like? I mean, all the times that I played, it was he's all yelling. So I'm
Well,
like,
yeah, and then
I don't know what
they
Blanca's
touched
supposed to sound like.
well, they touched on it on the first movie, but it was just a screenshot. Him and Dulcium again. I think they were at a limitation of special effect. That's why they the movie leaned heavily on Van Damme because of his athletic ability, which was the bizarro land part is that he was fighting Raul Julia. That was the part that was so bizarre to me in the movie. But because I was like, he's fighting the Adams family dude. He's fighting Gomez. So
Yeah, I was
it,
actually talking with my wife about it, and I was just kind of like, yeah, it's a shame that that was his last movie.
it was, but it was good. But he still did good. I mean, he still knocked it out of the park and did well. And Dulcium, they didn't really. They didn't really show him. They showed him bit part, and then Blanca was the same thing. They showed Blanca in a bit part, and again, I don't think it. I think it's because the special effects just weren't ready to keep with what they were needing to show in those characters. And so I didn't realize there was going to be a Mortal Kombat 2 either. But I think I remember G and I watching it and when it came out, and we were just like, again, we had, so here's a fun story. She actually had a very interesting tie into Mortal Kombat. So when she lived in California, and she's a one step below a black belt in karate. Like, she just never took the certification test to get her black belt. And one of the guys she was training with is the guy. Oh, good grief. I just went blank. He played Scorpion in the original Mortal Kombat. He was also Donatello in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then he also, you remember the movie The Rundown with The Rock?
Yeah.
Okay, you remember the guy that just beats the living crap out of The Rock, who's just this little bitty dude? That's
Yeah,
him.
that's Ernie Reyes Jr.
Yes, yeah. So G knew him when she was
Uh,
growing up in California, and so She so as soon as she saw there was a new Mortal Kombat movie coming out, she was like, "Oh, we got to watch it," because that was her tie-in with Mortal Kombat. Because she said he was absolutely one of the most loveliest human beings on the planet you could meet, just super soft-spoken and actually willing to help anybody trying to learn martial arts and things like that. And she got to spend some time with him while she was training. When she lived in California. It's a pretty cool story, but yeah, no. So we watched it with zero expectations, and it really doesn't have a lot of big name actors in it. That's what was so cool about it, I think. So, but yeah, no, they just got it right. It was one of the few times they got a movie like a video game movie, just, I mean, dead on, completely dead on accurate. So, Master of the Universe trailer came out. Jared Leto, barely recognizable. I think he's gonna do well. I think he's gonna knock it out. To me, He-Man looks a little small, but we'll not judge.
Again, you can't go and try to be, you know, cartoon, comic, accurate with certain things. So I'm
Well, in the
okay with
comic,
it. I
his
mean,
traps has traps that have traps that also have biceps and traps. So
yeah, it
it's
is. It
yeah.
is what it is. It is what it is, right? We're not gonna sit there and judge a guy because he doesn't fit the part. But
He reminds me of
um,
the remember the modern redo of He-Man, like it was in mid 90s or something, who was much smaller than the OG one. This is who that guy reminds me of. He reminds me of the Generation 2 He-Man that came out. Didn't do very well. It didn't do very, but again, but they're going for accuracy though. And some of the, I mean, look at Skeletor's outfit, look at all this stuff. So it's kind of interesting that we have this paradigm shift where things have moved into, hey, let's just see if it sticks on the wall or it looks stupid. So
yeah, no, I mean, and I'm all for it. I mean, that's my childhood right there. So it's it's going to be one of those things where people are going to come out and be like, man, either they like it or they don't, right? And now that movie was stupid, or hey, man, hey, it is what it is, and they'll probably be watching it 2 or 3 times. So um, I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm
no,
excited
there's
for all three of them.
I think this
So
is going to be a good movie. So Mortal Kombat 2 is releasing in May, and then Street Fighter is set to release in October. So they're going to be gapped apart. I was thinking they were going to put them in the same month, but I don't think they wanted that dual. I mean, this is going to be a big year for movies. We've got Mortal Kombat 2. We got Project Hail Mary that's already released. In fact, Amazon just announced they're extending its cinema stay, which is a good thing. That's a really good thing. That means it's well received. Super Mario Galaxy is just blowing through records right now. Like that cartoon is just doing really, really well.
well, yeah, I would expect it. I would have expected it to not
Yeah, no, I
like
downloaded the
super like it needed to supersede like the first one.
Yeah, well, the first one was good. Like I watched it. I had no. Again, it's one of those things where I just was bored the other day, and I decided to throw it on, and I was actually laughing out loud, on lots of parts of it. And you have to. What I love about it is the subtlety of those things. Like you have to be a Mario Kart fan or a to kind of pick up on some of the jokes, and then a Luigi's Mansion fan and a few of the other things, and there's Donkey Kong was brilliant to me. I thought Donkey Kong was actually pretty funny. The fight between he and Donkey Kong. So yeah, I'll probably see the second one because I did thoroughly. Illumination just to me is the new Pixar. They're kind of giving them a run for their money with, and that's the sort of Mouse House. That's the Universal group with, the Hotel Transylvania is Sony. Despicable Me is what I was trying to think of. Yeah. So that's that camp. Let's see what else is coming out. We've got, of course, all the Avengers news from CinemaCon. that came out with all the panels and stuff. A lot of people were confirmed. I am trying to stay away from as much news as possible on that one. But there is going to be a re-release of Avengers Endgame. So right before, I think they're releasing Endgame in November, like they're bringing it back to the cinemas right before the December launch of Avengers Doomsday. So that ought to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I could do without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, Endgame, if you don't watch Infinity War, Endgame doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But
Well, I mean, I'm not, again, I wasn't. I got my reservations um about Endgame. I wasn't overly thrilled about it. So
yeah, there's a lot of parallel lines though that are being drawn between Endgame and Doomsday. So that's I don't know. I'm nervous on it. I've been nervous since I saw they were bringing the X-Men back, and you know, it just I hope we're not pulling a Star Wars Force Awakens where we're just going to see our favorite people we grew up with just get obliterated off the screen. You know, I'm hoping that's not the case, but I mean, good grief, Ian McKellen's what, 87, 88 now, so Patrick Stewart's getting up there. I mean, eventually you got to bring things to an end, you know, at some point, but it's just not. It's kind of not. I mean, I thought Bryan Singer did a great job with his swan song, you know, kind of showing different aspects of those characters. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's going on there. So yeah, no, I over the weekend I was watching. I see that there's a new Highlander coming out. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. I know, big shock, but I think Henry Cavill's going to be great. You know what would be cool? I don't see Russell Crowe as being a good Ramirez. You know what I mean? So it's
well, I mean, let's be fair. You had a Scottish guy playing a Spanish guy, and a French guy playing a Scottish guy. So
right.
I don't think it really matters.
Well, right,
Everyone.
but it's really not that. It's just like Russell Crowe isn't okay. I'm gonna be mean for a minute, but he is not in the best of shape. Not that we are, but it's like we're also not trying to be an immortal, you know, superhero at this point. You know, so it's just I don't know. It's very, very, very it's kind of bizarro land to me. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about him being Ramirez and just being able to do it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he lost 100 pounds. Don't know. But it's one of those things where I just don't see it as being a believable tough guy. You know what I mean? So it's just,
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's where my head's at. I know they've already started filming. It's slated to release either late this year or probably mid next year. My thought is because we haven't really seen a lot of trailers and things come out for it, it'll most likely be mid next year because they're going to have to bake some stuff a little bit more. But the other guy I was that they had is David Batista. So Batista, I think, is going to be the villain in the movie, so that ought to be interesting because he's really good. He's always really, really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, are they going to do it? And yeah, I don't. Yeah, I didn't read too much into this, which is weird because this is something that I would have probably looked into a little bit more. But are they bringing the Kurgan back? Because that's going to be the thing. I mean, granted, nobody's going to be able to beat Clancy Brown's Kurgan, but are they going to
Yes, I do
have a
believe that's what
Kurgan?
he was announced. I can look it up real quick, but it did the evil guy did start. He did start. It did start with a K. But hold on, let me look at it real quick. It was yes, Kurgan is what it says. It says likely Kurgan. I don't think they've officially confirmed it, but it is like, so what I would have loved to have seen is I would have loved to have seen Christopher Lambert play Ramirez. I think that would have been a cool, tie into it. But and then it's going to be directed by Chad Stahelski, which is the guy from John Wick. So the core. That's the other thing. It's like, okay, you got one of the fastest martial arts choreographers doing the things, John Wick, for instance, and I just don't see how Russell Crowe's going to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So yes,
So
so
I mean, I don't know. It's better to just kind of sit and wait because I think like everybody has um they have like they're gonna have their opinions on it and then they're gonna be like, oh well, yeah, no, this makes sense. I'm glad they went this route.
yeah, no,
So
it could be. It could be that he's more of an advisor, less of a swordsman like the Sean Connery. So I went back and watched all of them except for Endgame. I haven't watched that one yet. But I did watch the first one. I watched the second one again, wishing I hadn't. And but I hadn't seen the Renegade edition, so I watched the Renegade edition, and then I read a little bit about it because I was bored while I was watching it. And apparently, what made everybody mad in the movie theater version is they made homage to aliens, and that the immortals were actually aliens, and they weren't actually. It basically screwed up all the heritage from the first movie, is what it did, and.
right,
And what I read into it is the studio didn't think there was going to be enough of a following for the original Highlander crowd, and so they chose to give it a sci-fi twist because you got to remember back then sci-fi was hot. You had, all these, you had, the Stallone movies that were sci-fi and Schwarzenegger that was sci-fi, this is released right around the Total Recall time, right? So, and they were trying to stay within that vein. And, yeah, it was horrible. It was good to see Sean Connery back, but it was, cause their banter was always enjoyable, but it was not, it just it was like it's like RoboCop 3 or something, you know what I mean? It was like, okay, you made a movie, not sure you should have, but you made one. And then
yeah, you have money, but doesn't mean you need to spend it.
right, exactly. And then I did watch The Final Dimension. So I didn't know that movie had two names. I didn't realize that movie was named there was Final Dimension, and then it was the Sorcerer, and
Yeah, so I remember me and my brother went to go watch it at the movies. But I do remember the trailer, which is kind of weird. There are a lot of things I remember about movies, but not about a lot of other things. But
like my
I
name, where I
remember when
live.
I saw the trailer for it, and I was just kind of like, I mean, I was such a Highlander fan, and it didn't matter, how crappy it looked. And I like Mario Van Peebles. Um,
Oh yeah, he's brilliant.
and, yeah, and he was such a, he was. So I had, some of these characters, some of these actors that I liked watching on screen, and it was great because that's what we were able to do. And so I'm not do it, but to see. And so it's just like, okay, this is just going to be, fantastic. And then when the movie finally came out, we were like, I went to go watch it. And I was like, oh yeah, I like this movie. And they decided to put Mako in it. And you're just kind of like, oh, okay, we'll see how this goes. But yeah, it was Highlander. As the original trailer, I think it was just Highlander 3: The Sorcerer or something like that.
Yeah, I remember the movie poster. It said The Final Dimension, so I remember it being on the movie. Yeah,
Excuse me.
I think it just depended on where it launched. Because I think one title was for the UK title and the other title was for the American title, and it just depends on what cinema got what poster or whatever. and I didn't see it. Again, I was still a little bit young yet to get to see movies like that in the theater. So I remember renting it at a friend's house, and he and I were giant Highlander fans, except for the second one. The second one was just really bad. And then go back and watching it, probably 30 some odd, 35 some odd years later, it was even worse than it was. The first one actually aged really well. Like the first one aged really well, and then the third one wasn't too bad. But you know what? I was a Highlander TV show guy. Like I loved Duncan MacLeod. I loved the TV show. I thought the TV show was great. So I liked the end game. I loved the end game with him and Christopher Lambert in the actual same movie. I thought that was great. And but I didn't realize there was another one called Source, and I don't think I ever watched that one. And that was with
Yeah, don't. I wouldn't.
that's what everybody says.
Um,
just don't.
yeah, I mean, they kind of went a little weird.
Yeah, I heard they went back to
Um,
like alien lore again, or like they kept screwing with the story again.
yeah, I mean, they had quite a few of them. They had. Uh, yeah, I mean, it was weird. It was just, they did make an animated movie. Actually, I think. Let me.
I think that do
Um,
remember me being a cartoon at some point. And that was like between that and Mortal Kombat. Christopher Lambert had very few roles. Like he wasn't in a lot of stuff after that, and because Mortal Kombat, he had a brief stint as Raiden. He played Raiden in number one, and I think he was seen at the beginning of number two, and then he wasn't in number two anymore.
well,
And
they kind of changed. I think they reshot it, but it was they used my God, what was his name?
but I'm not
He was in
sure
the Dexter movie. You know that?
what was it.
Um, oh my God, what is his name?
Oh, we'll just come back to it. It's fine. But yeah, no. So I revisited the franchise, and then I was kind of reading up on the newest iteration. Anything. Here's what I love about Henry Cavill. Anything he does, he goes all in for the history of the role, for because he's a fanboy, he's a gamer. Like that's how he approached The Witcher when he did the Witcher series. And the whole reason he left The Witcher is because he thought he was going to get to play Superman again. And that's the only reason he left the show, is because they were going to do Black Adam versus Superman, and then DC kind of shit canned the whole thing, and they just
Yeah, they need to get their shit straight.
yeah, and that was another interesting one is Superman. There's supposed to be a new 2027 is supposed to be a big year for DC. I know they're going to do another Superman movie, and then they've got something else they're keeping under wraps. I mean, if anybody can do it, it'll be the guy that they've got at the helm. He loves to use CGI animals in everything he does. So it's just I'm not quite sure how they're gonna tie all that into the. Did you see? You liked the new Superman though?
I did. Yeah, yeah. I liked it. I thought it had more of a comic tone than anything else. But it was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
All right.
I'm looking forward to Supergirl.
So me too. I saw the trailer and I started laughing during the trailer because I was like, okay, this is gonna be pretty funny, So he's bringing a more family tone back to Superman, or that I think to the DC franchise, whereas Zack Snyder is took it into a way darker gothic world of of storytelling, and I just went blank on who's doing the Superman. It was the same guy that did Guardians of the Galaxy, who's at the helm of it. I don't know why I just went blank on it, but but yeah, he seems to be making it more of a family friendly tone, very much like the older Superman was. I mean, I remember being able to watch Superman as a child. 1, 2, and 3, except 3 scared me when the lady turned into a robot. That was scary to me. But and we won't talk of Superman 4. We are not to speak of Superman 4 versus
Yeah.
Atomic Man or whatever the heck it was called. I think it was
Yeah,
straight
he
to
was very,
VHS. Yeah, yeah, or Nuclear Man.
yeah,
Yeah, is what it
nuclear
was.
man. Yeah, he had a very same look as the Sentry. But
Yeah.
that's for another topic.
All right. So, what are
That's
you
another topic.
excited about this week, Ray, in the world of movies?
Nothing. There's nothing absolutely that interests me that's coming out. I think
Not
the
until
Mummy.
Not until July. How did you watch The Mummy?
No, I think it comes. Doesn't it come out? When does it come out?
I thought it
This
already
week?
did. I thought it just released. I thought it
No,
just launched.
that's probably going to be. That's probably going to. I'll probably watch it tomorrow night while I'm waiting for the movie to get out. But I'm just kind of like,
Is it a
yeah.
new
I mean,
so is it part of the Universal Monster universe that they've been trying to rejuvenate for the last 10 years? Or is it not a
I have
Universal project? Because
I have no idea.
I know somebody just released Dracula, and then somebody just released Frankenstein. And so I kind of figured it was, I mean, I knew Universal was trying to launch it off of a Tom Cruise mummy movie, and it just didn't do well. And I think it just because it became kind of a Mission Impossible movie with a mummy. you know, it was just it was kind of this weird, interesting thing. Oh, that was another piece of movie news I did see is that Top Gun 3 has been greenlit. Tom Cruise is involved, and then McQuarrie is involved. The only person that is not confirmed yet is Joseph Kaczynski, which he was the one that helmed Top Gun Maverick. And I'm not sure he's on a couple other projects, and I'm not sure if he's gonna have the time to commit to it. There's hasn't been rumor of if he's coming back or not, but it was confirmed at this most recent CinemaCon during the Paramount Plus panel. And they did say that it is in the works. They are bringing Tom Cruise back. Tom Cruise confirmed that he's coming back for Top Gun 3. How do you feel about that?
As long as they don't do the same thing over and over and over.
Well,
Right. Um, as long as they don't make it look like Top Gun Maverick. Right. Like
Top Gun Maverick was
you need
just
something a little different.
it was Top Gun Maverick was just so exciting because Top Gun was one of those untouchable movies. You know what I mean? It was just like, what do you mean you're coming out with a sequel? You know what I mean? And then Maverick just set the bar so wickedly high that I'm not quite sure where you go from there. You know what I mean? And yeah, so it'll be interesting, and we'll call it a to be determined. I mean, we're still early in pre-production, so there's going to be a lot of things have to happen before. I mean, they haven't even started filming it. McQuarrie announced a couple days ago that he was already working on a script or almost finished with a script. So it's further than I think we expected. So that'll definitely be interesting. The new one is going to be called or on Superman, going back to Superman, Man of Tomorrow is the name of the new Superman. That's going to be 2027. is
I think that's based off of the comic, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I think the guy is Brainiac is who they're supposed to be fighting, which that'll be the first time he's ever been done on screen. So this year we have Toy Story 5 coming out, which I didn't know we needed a 5 or a 4. After 3, The Mandalorian and Grogu, May 22nd, 2026. I'm not sure how I feel about that one either. I know I say that a lot with new movies. It's just I don't know. I don't know if we're ready for a Mandalorian movie, so I'll go see it anyway. I'm not sure. Brand New Day hits this coming summer, so that'll be fun. The Odyssey is one that's been talked about a lot. So that's a Christopher Nolan movie, so you'll know it'll be good. If Christopher Nolan's attached to anything, you know it's going to be probably really, really good. Also long. So, and then Spaceballs, I did see a video of Rick Moranis. He looks great, by the way. Have you seen him recently?
Just from the CinemaCon.
He doesn't look like he's aged.
Yeah, I just expected him to like. I just expected him to be, more excited. He didn't look excited in those videos at
No,
all.
well,
But
he left the film industry to be a dad. You know, he wanted to be a full-time dad, and then right after Ghostbusters, I think 2 and that was one, I think that was his last role. You know, I think he just decided he wanted to be a full-time dad. His wife was pregnant when he was shooting that one, and that he just, that was it. And Tom Holland is
well,
actually, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, he did retire because of the. I mean, I think he did the Honey I Shrunk movies.
Oh, that's
I don't
right.
remember if that was
Yeah, Honey,
after
I Shrunk,
Ghostbusters 2, but
and then number 1, 2, and then the third one was Honey, I Blew Up the Baby, or was that number 2? I think
I
number.
don't remember.
I
But
think
I do know that because I think it was like his wife passed away, and that was one of the reasons why
yeah,
he stepped away. Yeah.
yeah. There's a reboot. I don't know if it's even worth mentioning. Uh, Faces of Death is getting a reboot of some sort, and yeah, I'm not sure that it even needed to be. It should have just been left alone as the horrible movie that it was.
Yeah, you hear about those movies when you're a kid, and you're just kind of like, is this real life? And yeah,
Yeah,
they
no.
didn't come up with some other stuff, so I don't know.
Well, so for those of the audience members that don't know what that was, it's kind of there was this, what do you call it, Ray? Folklore, I guess, about the
That it
fact
was
that it was showing real death,
death. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah. I would go with folklore for sure. Maybe you know
in the
rumors,
in the
theories,
grand
whatever.
scheme of things, it was more of a smut film from the 70s or something, late 70s, and then it kind of made it into the early, teen slumber parties and kids slumber parties where their parents were trying to be cool and rent movies for the kids or whatever that you shouldn't see, and we're gonna put it in the you shouldn't see it category.
You shouldn't see it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
pretty much.
just not worth it. And then it became this whole dynamic, dark sequels of people trying to make copies of copies of copies of this type. I call it kind of like the Paranormal Activity effect. You know how you have or the Blair Witch effect, where then you had every horror movie that was trying to use handy cams and stuff to be edgy, and then the copycats. And there's a bunch of copycat. Well, apparently there's a reboot of this thing in the works, and going back to Honey I Shrunk the Kids, there was Honey I Blew Up the Kid, and then Honey We Shrunk Ourselves.
Ourselves.
But I don't
Yeah.
think he was in Ourselves. I think he was just in the Blue. I knew he was in the Blow Up the Kid. I don't think I ever saw the Ourselves thing. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, no, a lot of interesting stuff. But yeah, I dug into some old movies, dug into the Highlander stuff, dug into Mario, watched Mario to just see if I decided if it was Kaleidoscape worthy. Which I think it is. I think it's pretty fun. I mean, it's definitely a fun film to jump out there. A lot of people taking the Kaleidoscape challenge and losing. I mean, they always do when you take the Kaleidoscape challenge. I warned you.
Again, what is this? Did I miss something? Was I
So
involved in that? I don't know.
so the Kaleidoscape challenge is where I actually either bring a kaleidoscape to your house and show you on your system, or you come to the store and I can show you an A and B comparison versus Apple TV versus Kaleidoscape. So if you take the challenge and you decide to buy a Kaleidoscape, then we give you a coupon for $100 in free movies if you decide to buy a Kaleidoscape.
Hmm.
So, and several people have tried, and all have failed thus far, and they either end up with a Kaleidoscape with a bunch of free movies, or they, they admit that it's better, but they're just like, I just can't do the investment, which is totally okay too. We're just trying to get the word out to where folks can see what they're missing and whatnot with that particular platform. But yeah, no, I just when I saw these movies coming out, I was like, man, it looks like we went like back to the 80s or back to the 90s here and for a minute. And I'm just waiting for a really good, here's what I don't get. Why is it that they can make Street Fighter look right? They've now fixed Mortal Kombat, and now they're doing He-Man. What's up with Ninja Turtles, man? Why do they keep screwing that one up?
Yeah, like they don't. I really enjoy the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movies. I thought they were really good. I just enjoyed it. I take it for what it is. I'm taking those movies for what they are. Like, you know, it takes a lot for me to really kind of just not be completely satisfied with the movie. And I know that a lot of people could say the same about like Endgame. Like, well, why didn't you like Endgame and this and that? There's just certain
Yep.
things that I have a problem
What
with
was
it.
your beef with Endgame? I don't think you and I have gotten into that.
That's gonna be. I would probably wait till
You're like, what
next
wasn't
week
my
on that one
beef
because
with Endgame?
there's 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 just too much that's in it that I just completely disagreed with, and so um, but we could talk about that on the next one. So, but it was a good movie. I liked them both. I liked both movies that they did, and yeah, no complaints from me.
So
No.
my beef with Endgame was how they portrayed the Hulk and Thor. Those were my two biggest problems with Endgame. I did not enjoy the fat Thor. Yeah, it was funny, but that's not how I wanted to remember Thor, you know? And then
Yeah.
the Hulk was a complete wuss the whole movie, which also I didn't like. I thought they brought Professor Hulk into this way too quickly, and he just lost his sense of how to be the Hulk they needed instead of the other thing. And it just, in my opinion, it was not as enjoyable as I wanted it to be with those two characters. I thought they got I didn't mind Captain America. I thought that was fine. I thought Spider-Man, I mean, I've always had a interesting beef with the variation of the Tom Holland now don't get it twisted. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I think he is probably the most Spider-Man like Spider-Man I have ever seen because the dude does his own stunts. He is an athlete. He's an acrobat. He's not a professional acrobat, but he could be. As far as some of the things athletically he does, he is probably the most athletic Spider-Man that you've ever seen in a Spider-Man movie. So I've enjoyed that. I just thought they went too heavily Iron Spider, and I think they brought the Iron Spider was a character that they, once people started getting bored with the Spider-Man type of Spider-Man, they as he got older, he started using technology instead of what his radioactive things did. And so I think in this newer variation of Spider-Man, they're going to kind of right those wrongs in that. And this will probably be the first time we see him as Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So, and I'm excited for that. I think that's exciting. And I've never enjoyed the Iron Spider. I mean, I didn't dislike the Iron Spider, and I didn't dislike Far From Home and Homecoming and No Way Home. I loved all of those movies. I loved all of the movies, but I really just kind of wanted to see him be Spider-Man and Mary Jane be Mary Jane, and Tony Stark not be Uncle Ben. You know what I mean? So, which is kind of the character that he filled, and I got it. I understood why they were doing it, because anytime RDJ is in a movie, it's going to put butts in seats, and I think that's the reason why he came back for Doomsday. And I don't know if you saw this. Did you see the Chris Evans statement for as far as him and playing Captain America again?
I did not know.
Oh, it's awesome. He said the Russo brothers called him, and he basically stated, just so you know, this is not a cash grab for Chris Evans. And so he said, I will do it as long as there is a reason for him to come back to the story. If there is not a legitimate reason, and it's just hey, let's throw Captain America to put Captain America in the movie, then I don't want to do it. And that's he said that to the audience at CinemaCon. So that's the only reason he's in the movie, is because they have a reason for him to be there. He said, if there's a reason for the Avengers to need Steve Rogers, then I'll come and do it. But if not, then I'd rather just sit this one out again. So I thought that was interesting. And the same was to be said about, Chris Hemsworth has a different take on that. Chris Hemsworth, his take is, I'll play Thor until they won't let me play Thor anymore. Is what he said.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, he was a perfect Thor. So
yeah. No, well, the funny thing is that Tom Hiddleston was supposed to. He tried out for Thor, and he was actually going to get the role until Chris Hemsworth tried out for Thor, and then that was it. So. Because he is Thor. I mean, good grief. I mean, he's, tall, huge, blonde, I mean, you can't, he is Thor, pretty much. It's like looking at Henry Cavill as Superman. So, but, yeah, no, so that would be my beef with Endgame, is I didn't like the way they did the Hulk, and I didn't like the way they did, Thor. And I think everything else, it was okay. Everything else, but I just didn't enjoy those two aspects of it. But it sounds like you had some major beef with that movie.
Just the whole, I mean, if you maybe I'm looking at it from a different pair of glasses, but
you realize I'm going to get it out of you, right? You realize I'm just going to keep.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to wait, because I got too much on this, man. Let's just say
All right, well, give us a sneak peek. What is your pisser? What is the pisser with Thor? What is the pisser with Endgame? Give us a sneak peek. What is your major number one?
time travel.
Oh, you didn't like the time caper thing.
It wasn't time travel that that bothered me, but That's what I'm going to tell you.
Oh, that's
But
a cliffhanger. Okay, now you just piss me off. That's like smelling somebody's appetizer go by. And
thinking that it's yours and it's not.
yeah,
You're
exactly.
welcome.
Yeah, no, that okay. Yeah, I asked for it. There you go. Hey, it's like
Yeah,
no, man. You asked for it, and that's what I gave you right there.
exactly what it is. So
That's exactly what it is. All right, I didn't think about the. See, I thought that was pretty neat when they did it that way, but it.
well, I mean, if you're fans of the comic again, and
Oh, they
you
totally screwed it up. Yeah, no.
no, okay, well, I mean, if you watch I mean, if you read like the Infinity arc, like the Infinity Gauntlet and stuff like that, then you're gonna kind of give you more of a touch on certain things. But anyway, I'm just gonna kind of leave it at that. And people can argue with me if they want. It's not gonna change my mind
Yeah.
on the actual movie itself unless I really sit down and put two and two together
Well,
and decide like what, okay, it wasn't that bad. But until then, I think
to
I'm gonna keep
me,
ragging on it.
they totally. Well, if it wasn't just in game, then it was the whole infinity concept that was the
No,
problem.
I loved Infinity War.
Did you really?
Uh, I did. I liked Infinity War. I thought it was really good, but it was the end game that really tried to. That they pushed my buttons on that one, and I just didn't appreciate it.
Interesting. Yeah, no, so
Yeah.
I was the opposite. I thought Infinity War started out strong and had a really good opening, like to start right after Ragnarok and just have the it almost made the Ragnarok movie seem pointless and worthless, because they just went through this entire trauma in Ragnarok and trying to get back to where he belonged, and then once he's back the whole world's decimated, and then they finally just pull the plug and blow up the whole planet or whatever, and then now they're on this ship, and then the ship just everybody dies, and it was just like what, and so yeah, so I thought it had a really good opening sequence, and I love how Guardians tied into that and everything else. I think it was what it was for me. It was it's silly, but it's the lack of Silver Surfer, because Silver Surfer was a huge thing in the Infinity War. It was the lack of Galacticus. It was the lack of Lady Death, which was also a huge thing in the Infinity comic. And then Lady Death was in Ragnarok, but yet they didn't talk about her and Thor at all, or not her and Thor, her and Thanos at all. And yeah, so there was there was a bunch of key things that they could have tied in together, but I understand how they couldn't, because they couldn't create a Fantastic Four movie to save their life at that point. They had tried already and it just did not work. Did you watch the last Fantastic Four, the newest one?
I did. I did. I actually liked it.
And it was good,
I liked
right?
it more than what I thought I was going to like it.
Me too.
That one right there was surprised me.
Yep. No, me too, because the trailer was trash. The trailer looked like garbage. Was not a fan of it, and I was like, wasn't even going to bother watching it. And then it popped up on Disney Plus, and it was one of my sleepy time movies where I should be sleeping but didn't. And so I hit the button and said, "Yeah, no, let's just do it. Yeah, I'm going to watch it." And then I was mad at myself because instead of falling asleep to a movie, I was actually awake watching the whole movie. So yeah, that was one of those things. But yeah, no, that would turn out to be good. And they're going to be a heavy force in Infinity War. So that'll be not Infinity War, Jesus, Endgame, or no, at Doomsday. so
You'll get it. One of these days.
one of these days
Don't
you'll
worry.
call it by the right movie. Yeah, no, which is going to have, I think, the longest run time. I think it's 3.5 hours to do Doomsday. They got a lot of stuff to cover and a lot of people to get to. in this movie. So it'll be interesting. I am getting Force Awakens vibes. I hope that I'm wrong. My prediction is hopefully that prediction does not come true at all, but we'll see. But anything else you got, Ray? What are you working on your trip out? What are you doing?
Just my general stuff that we normally work on, so nothing big. You
Yep.
know, it's just a common trip, nothing special. Just a preventative maintenance, upgrading, fun stuff like that.
Updating, upgrading, and preventative maintenance. All right. So, I'm not going to mention, but I'm going to mention Ray's pissed off at Endgame. No, I'm not going to go there again. I'm pissed off that I asked Ray and that he just barely shared a morsel of that, and now I'm very pissed off. No. What I'll say is honorable mention of that this show seems to be a pretty hot show. So we're probably going to be do staggered starts with this show, so we won't release it at the same time as the normal episode. So we'll probably give you a smack roll of something in the middle of the week or a couple days into the week. We'll do a bonus release. Start doing that because we're trying to not take away from one show versus the other show. We're so happy that Ray and I were actually happy that there's just other movie dorks that like to listen to other dorks talk about movies. So he and I share that camaraderie, is not only in technology but also that the love for the open cinema. And so but yeah, so we're excited. You guys are excited as hey, what do you call a part 4?
Reboot.
A reboot? Oh, yeah, I guess we could do a part 4 reboot. All right, so that is our trilogy, unless Ray tells me he's got something else or wants to talk about Endgame. I'm going to get it out of him, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, I'm going to get it out of him. All right, that is our episode 3. Thank you for listening, and if you have any of your own movie comments or what's pissed you off about your movies, please don't hesitate to let us know how you're pissed off about movies. I tell you, I'm going to get it out of them. But that is a wrap. Stay tuned because depending on when we release this show, we will see you toward the weekend as our usual time. Ray, are you in studio this coming episode next weekend?
I should be. Yeah, I should be.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Well, that's good. Ray should be. No more cardboard Ray, and we will see you in a bit.